Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great. My name is Abhishek Sinha. I'm currently a graduate student at the Data Science Institute at Columbia University and a member of the DSI Student Council. All too often, data scientists so engrossed with their numbers lose sight of what matters, the people and the experiences. So we at the DSISC bring to you Outlier Detected, a podcast exclusively dedicated to individuals with stories and data that stand out beyond the normal. For this, I'm joined today by my classmate and co-host Natalie Chen. Let's hear it for her.
Hey Abhishek, thank you for your warm welcome, and hello everyone, this is Natalie. I'm also a student in the Data Science program at Columbia University and a member of the Student Council. I'm very excited to co-host our very first episode to the many in this podcast. Hope everyone enjoys it, and let's get started.
So in this episode, we'll talk about data science careers, networking, women in data science, and touch upon many other themes. Joining us today to know more from someone who has been in the center of it all, and if I may say so, absolutely smashing it in the data science industry, we have Aishwarya Srinivasan, a data scientist in IBM's Data Science and AI Elite team. Aishwarya's research focuses include machine learning, reinforcement learning, and she is an alumni of the Data Science Institute at Columbia University. She's also an ambassador for the women in data science community and has a huge follower base on LinkedIn and actively organizes events and conferences to inspire budding data scientists. She has been spotlighted as a LinkedIn Top Voice 2020 for Data Science and AI, which features top 10 machine learning influencers from all across the world. Aishwarya, over to you if you'd like to introduce yourself further.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you so much, Natalie. I'm really excited to be here. I always credit Columbia to be one of the most eminent reasons for me what I am today, because Columbia offered me extreme amount of opportunities, and that's probably one of the reasons I could explore so many different things while I was at Columbia and going further even after Columbia. I am extremely grateful for all the alumni relationships they have been maintaining. And as you mentioned, I'm a data scientist. I'm working with the data science and AI elite team in IBM, and my work majorly focuses on developing AI algorithms and machine learning algorithms for various different industries. So we typically work for about 6 to 8 weeks with different clients, and that's how I have been trying to implement AI use cases in real world examples.
That sounds absolutely amazing, Aishwarya. Thank you so much for telling us that. So I think one of the first things that we notice about you, and when we, look at your profile and so on, especially on LinkedIn, is that you describe yourself as a unicorn in data science, and that really stands out for us because I don't think we've ever come across that term before. So if you could, in a few words, maybe explain what that exactly means. Like, what do you mean by being a unicorn in data science?
Okay, so I'll just tie this up with a small story. So when I joined IBM, one of my mentors, his name is Avijit, and he was one of my favorite mentors, and he's been helping me all through my career transitions, through my research and everything while I was at IBM. And he used to use some of the terms which was very fascinating to me. So once he called me a wild duck. So I was just asking him, hey, what does it even mean? So he was mentioning wild duck is basically a personality trait where the person is very curious and very inclined towards trying out of the box things. So people who do not like to go forward in the trajectory that is tried and tested, but they try to explore all the other avenues, are typically known as wild ducks. And he used to tie the personality trait of wild ducks with the people who are innovators and creators who try to disrupt the industry. So that was a very fascinating term for me. And he himself used to mention that unicorn in data science is someone who is able to tie tie engineering with real life use cases. So someone who's able to understand the business problem, who is able to hold themselves as a subject matter expert in that industry, and able to build data science solutions from a computational perspective and tie that into productionalization and a business value generation. So the entire pipeline is somewhere what is known as a unicorn in data science. It could also be parallelly looked at as a full stack engineer, right? In software engineering terms, it could be it could be related as a full stack engineer. So that's basically what's a unicorn in data science.
That's amazing. And if I may say so, you've certainly managed to tie data science to real world use cases. So that's absolutely amazing. But I don't know, and this really stands out to me because I'm of course one of those people, and Natalie, I'm sure would agree, is one of those as well, that has always been told that LinkedIn is so important in the lives of all of us graduates and these people that are looking for the job market and so on and so forth. So and I'm sure you were also advised at some point to join LinkedIn and just connect with people, network, and so on. So when you were starting out with LinkedIn, did you ever imagine you were gonna be this big, or did you ever envision that as a goal when you set out on it, or
Uh,
did it
Absolutely
just
not.
happen?
So I actually started using LinkedIn when I was in my undergraduate studies, and uh, I started to use it because I was in VIT. I was very far away from my home, and I was probably a little bit of nerd back then. So like I couldn't really like spend too much of my free time doing anything else. So I used to use LinkedIn because it used to help me connect with a lot of people outside my community, outside even India. So that was my initial motivation to start using LinkedIn. And slowly I started like realizing the value behind LinkedIn, because to be honest, times have changed. Like earlier, people used to rely more on like going to libraries, reading physical books, reading physical journals. And if you think about it, the time lag between someone putting out a research, that being accepted in a journal, getting printed, coming to your library, and you getting to read it, it is a huge latency. But things right now have been changed drastically. Things have been digitalized. So even when people are just working on a research, even if it's not accomplished, even if they are in the process of finding something new, people know about it. And how is that? Digital media, right? Like everything is going on the news, everything is being like posted on LinkedIn or like any other social media platforms for that matter. And that gave me an opportunity. I started realizing that, hey, like if I really want to keep up with the latest technology updates, LinkedIn is probably one of the best platforms. And another, probably I would call it a selfish reason, I initially started using it because I could reach out to these people. Like if I was reading a research paper, if I was reading someone's blog, I would shamelessly reach out to them. I would be like, hey, I was reading this blog of yours and I am absolutely confused about these things. Could you like come on a call with me for like 30-35 minutes, and I want to clarify all these things. So initially, like I was trying to learn, I was like a beginner in the career, and that's probably how I stepped into data science. To be honest, back in 2013 in India, people didn't even know about data science or machine learning. Cloud computing had just started booming in India. And LinkedIn was probably the platform which gave me the exposure to see that there is research going on in cloud computing, data science, and machine learning. And back then I was a very vocal person, so I used to like reach out to recruiters who used to come on campus for like the fourth year hires. I used to just like go like trespass these career fairs which was for the fourth years, and I would just like talk to these recruiters and like the managers whoever are coming there, and I would just ask them that, hey, you know what, like I'm a first year undergrad student and I would want to like do an internship. So a lot of them would be like, hey, like we don't really offer internships to the first years, but luckily like I did get to know lot of people who were ready to give me that opportunity. So I could step into like corporate world or like with industry experience right when I was in my first year. So I could do all these part-time internships. I could do internships while I was on my semester breaks, and that gave me a lot of exposure. That gave me an understanding on what the industry is trying to achieve from data science, not just from a research perspective. Like we see all these fancy algorithms going out, be like, hey, we are optimizing like this, we are like building it with so much accuracy, but the kind of data sets they are using for research purposes is very different from what you see in real life. So it gave me that exposure, and that was very important. I feel like that's probably one of the main reasons that I stepped into the field of data science and came here to do my master's. So yeah, that's how I started using my LinkedIn to build my network, to build connections, to get to know more about people. And back then I was not really like posting a lot because I barely knew anything. I was just in the process of learning from other people. And slowly when I started to like gain that confidence, where I felt that, hey, I have like a strong foothold in this space, I started like writing about things. And to be very honest with you, like probably since like the start of last year, I did not even like constantly think about LinkedIn as something which would give me like some sort of like fame or like some sort of recognition. It was like probably like mid of the year when like one of the persons from LinkedIn reached out to me, and she was like, hey, like we have been like looking at your profile for a while now, and your engagement with the people, your contributions to the community is like well recognized. And that's the first time I actually felt, I was like, wow, I didn't really know like someone was actually monitoring what I've been doing, or like even analyzing the engagement that I've been creating on LinkedIn. And probably since then I have been more actively putting my effort into what I do on LinkedIn, because I don't want it to be like very like very broad. So I have like started deciding my focus. So I only like blog about certain things, and I only like share certain kind of content, because I feel like I don't want to be like confusing people around, and I research well before writing anything that I put on LinkedIn. So I've been like putting more conscious effort into LinkedIn recently.
But that's absolutely inspiring. And if you don't mind, I just want to like follow up on that a bit. How exactly did you time all of this on LinkedIn? So like what I mean is, did you sort of take out, I don't know, half an hour every day to uh, go and just look things up on LinkedIn and just research different areas in data science and so on and so forth? Or I don't know, did it just become a habit for you opening LinkedIn from time to time, like people open
If
any
you
other
don't
app?
classify me as a nerd, I would admit that that's probably my fidgeting habit. Like I like whenever I hold my phone, that's the first thing that I do. Like I just like open LinkedIn, because whenever I'm like scrolling down, there's something new that comes up. There's absolutely something amazing and fascinating that comes up every time I refresh LinkedIn. So that's become my habit. I would probably be going on LinkedIn say like 20-25 times a day. So yeah, whenever I find something interesting, or I feel I get into the groove of like writing something, I just do it there, like then and there. Like I don't really like specifically set up some time for me to do LinkedIn.
I was also like very interested in your experience that you just shared with us, like how LinkedIn helped you as a person and also as a professional in the field. And I'm very interested in knowing, like, for the contents that you share on LinkedIn, how do you gain those like how do you gain those thoughts about what contents you want to write on one day, or like for this period of time? Is it from your work experience or your conversation with other professionals in the field?
I do like blog about various different kinds of things. So most of my blogs are basically like sharing what's happening in the community around AI, be it in robotics, be it in natural language processing, like applications of AI in healthcare, or finance, etc. So I typically write about things which is going on in the industry, but a lot of the times I also blog about like non-data science things, like how to manage your time, how to be more effective and more productive when you're trying to work, how to actually figure out what's your forte. Because one of the questions I often get is, hey, like I don't know what's my specialization. Like I'm currently doing my bachelor's, but I don't know what is the thing that I want to do my master's in. So those kind of questions, right? Like helping people with their career, helping people how to network, how to build their community, how to approach recruiters, or how to find themselves the right opportunities. So I do like blog about a mix of various different things.
Okay, that's amazing. And also, like, after listening to your introduction and also looking at your profile, we noticed that you're an ambassador for an organization called Women in Data Science for 2 years at this point. So, like, in fact, I just joined as a mentee of this organization at Columbia University. So I personally, and I believe like many of the audience, will also want to hear more about your experience to this organization. Like, why did you decided to become the ambassador of it, and what are some of the impacts of it on you?
So one of the things which I have personally experienced since I have been in like the STEM field is that there is some unconscious bias which everyone has whenever they see like a woman doing like the coding exercises, or like women doing a job like data science, right? So it's not something which people might be like actively thinking and like having bias against, but there is definitely an unconscious bias which everyone has. And I have had like instances where I have personally felt that. And one of the reasons I wanted to get into this is uh, like women in data science is not a community which is trying to like disintegrate people saying men and women separately in data science, but it's trying to build a space where, you know, like people don't like consciously make that judgment where they're like, hey, like she's a woman, like she is in the field of data science. It shouldn't be like women or men in data science. It should be like a person who's just doing data science, right? And that bias is more inclined towards women, and that's probably what I'm trying to work towards. The women in data science community is open for everyone, whoever wants to join. And we are trying to build a community where we are encouraging more people to get into this field. And I feel like one of the major reasons why we see like less women in the field of STEM is not because they don't choose STEM after their undergraduate studies. It's basically because why they do not choose it when they are earlier in their primary school or like in their high school. So we are trying to inculcate this practice where we are encouraging girls to take more of STEM related courses or like data science related courses earlier in their career or earlier in their education, which would like, you know, induce that interest of them while they are like pursuing their bachelor's or master's.
That's a really cool decision, and I think it also gave me like many insights about this organization and about my career path. So after hearing about your motivations to start and keep doing it, what are some of the impacts of this ambassador role on your daily life, social networking, or even your career path building?
So for me personally, like it just gives me a lot of joy. It gives me a lot of satisfaction that I'm doing something which is giving back to the community. I hear a lot of people, like especially from a place where I come from, like girls are not very encouraged to education. Like, and I'm extremely grateful for my mother that she had taken this decision to like get me into the field of like science, and like, you know, like let me be free whenever I chose to like pursue my career. Like, and I've seen like a lot of girls who face this issue in India is that their parents do not want them to go outside their supervision, right? They want them to stay in the same country, they want to stay, make them stay in the same city as themselves, and one like that restricts a lot of opportunities for a person. And as I understand, like parents have their own concerns for their kids, but this is a situation which is faced more by girls. And in the same society I was also coming from, it was a case. But my mother like did take a decision when she was like, you know what, like you should be going ahead with whatever is the best for you. And she never stopped me. Like even right after I completed my high school, I chose the right university where I wanted to pursue my education, and she was like very supportive for each and every decision. And so I feel like it is very important for your parents to also like support you in all these different situations. And that's where I'm like trying to, you know, help and motivate more people towards this. And women in data science is a community which is helping people encourage to pursue their passion, to pursue what they like. And we are trying to give them opportunities, like setting up conferences, trying to like bring more like entrepreneurs or like more you know, successful people in the field, which helps them find their passion. So I feel like it just like gives me a lot of satisfaction when I'm working with these people, because I feel like I can, you know, create that difference in someone else's life, and that day I'll be like very happy. The other thing which I would say is really like interesting about the community is that we build a very interactive and like a very cheerful community, because as I mentioned, like we organize a lot of different conferences, we have data-thon events, we have various different things going on, which brings people together and we get to know each other, right? So that's one of the major purposes that we are trying to work towards, that we want people in the same industry to engage with each other, to know each other, and like have that give and take relationship.
Okay, I never imagined about like the size of this organization before I heard about it. So it's really amazing to hear more about it. And so you mentioned about the importance of parents and also organization on helping women to pursue their career path in data science. And I just wonder, like, do you have any advice for other women in data science without the help of parents or other institution supports? Like, how could they build their career path or make an impact on this field?
I can't specifically say something because like if you really don't have that support from your parents and like moving to a different city or anything, that's probably not something I can help with. But even like within the same place, there are a lot of like online courses which are there. So like learning, it will never limit you. But yes, there would be some opportunities which you might not be able to access. For example, like when I am in a city, like I can get and meet different people in person. I can get to meet professors. I can, you know, like attend all these conferences in person. But that might not be happening. But like education or like in terms of knowledge, there won't be anything lacking for you, even if you are not in a particular city. Like online world is like very rich, and you can get immense amount of like knowledge from all the online courses and all the resources which are available out there.
I'm sure everyone across appreciates a more equitable industry where everyone can, participate as much as they possibly want to. But on that note, you're doing so much and you're contributing to so many fields. You're helping women, as you just mentioned. You're part of IBM. You're doing wonders with, I think, a YouTube channel you very recently started. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so if I may ask, like, how did you get here? I know you've told us quite a bit about your story until now, but were there any like pivotal moments where you had to make like decisions that really affected where you are right now and how you got here?
I don't think like there was any one moment which has affected. It was all like different stepping stones which I have like come through. So at different point in time, I feel like I was a yes man, and I used to like just say yes to all different opportunities. It has like both its pros and cons. I have got immense amount of opportunities because I was that yes person, and I used to like say yes to any and every opportunity which was coming my way. I used to be that person who used to, you know, like go out and try to grab these opportunities which could possibly be there. Like I would actively reach out to people and be like, hey, like I saw that you have been hosting this conference, and like, is there a way that I can come and participate as probably an anchor? I can, could I just come and participate as a volunteer? And, you know, various different things. So that's how I started. Like, that's how I started getting engaged to all these communities. And, I guess, yeah, like it has just been like various different small pieces which have collectively become like a big thing for me now. And I guess like I'm also trying to not be that yes man I used to be, because I realize like I have a time constraint for various different things, and I cannot be like accepting all different opportunities at any given point in time. So I am trying to balance that out. But one of the things which I would say is people often like reject their own ideas. People often like reject their own like self rejection. That's probably the term I would want to use. And I would encourage people to not do that. Like if you think that a professor might not reply to your question, like first ask, right? Like ask for the opportunities which you're looking for. If it comes your way or it doesn't, that's like a later thing. But never like self reject your ideas. Always like pursue what you want to, and never think that maybe you're asking for too much. Like probably never do that. So I would say like always like keep yourself open to opportunities. Whenever someone approaches to you with an opportunity, like think with a broader perspective that if you can probably put in 2 more extra hours into that, and that'll be like really beneficial for you, and not just in terms of career but also in terms of learning.
I think that's a great piece of advice as well. After all, it's always a no until you actually bother asking, and it might be a it might be a
Yeah.
yes. So,
Yeah.
uh, On that note though, so you've had such a long journey until like now, like you've done so much again. And as you mentioned again and again, you had like so many people that helped you along the way and supported you as well, as you said. So do you think your networking skills through these career fairs that you sort of as you mentioned just went to, even if you weren't really invited, you said your first year you just trespassed into, I don't know, various career fairs and just went and networked with people. So what do you think is the role of networking itself when it comes to uh, career building, working in data science, and just approaching different problems? Do you think there's any like specific reasons that you must network, otherwise there's no other way around in this field to any extent?
I don't see, like, I think communication or like being an extrovert person is just a personality trait. And that's how I was. Like, I was a very curious person. And even till date, like, I do not hesitate in, like, even stopping by a passenger on the road and like asking him something. So that's probably just how I am. And it's not the case that you cannot be successful without having the communication skills. It depends on what kind of a career path you choose for yourself. So here's the thing, like, your skills and talents, like what are you good at, what are your, like, like what are your differentiating factors. You can achieve a lot if you are able to map your skills and talent with the requirements of the job correctly. Like, if someone is like really focused, like I am not the person who can sit on my computer for 10 hours and like work in a stretch. Like, I probably have a less like attention span. So I feel like people who are having a different personality trait should find a mix of the career which would be more suited for their personality and their skill set. So if you are a person who's like very focused, who likes to just engross themselves in education or like in studies in computer all the time, then you might be a really good fit for a researcher, right? So you need to just have that right mapping between what you are good at, what are your skill set, what is something that you can improve actively, and how are you going to apply that for your career.
On that note then, like from what you're saying, you had so you had so many opportunities and you worked so much that I'm sure you developed quite a bit of like skill in quite a lot of things across all these years, right? Like that I'm sure you were, maybe be it through your LinkedIn where you were exposed to different new ideas, be it through university, or be it through different areas. So was there any like particular skill that stood out to you as well? Maybe that in terms of something that was really useful to you, or perhaps it could be something that you didn't learn at all until you entered your professional life and you were like, oh wow, it would have been really nice if I had learned this at some point in the past. So
Yeah. So the thing is, like, there were two different things which I learned through my internships versus my corporate life. So when I was in my undergraduate or like even masters, the kind of problems I used to solve was very structured. It was very clean. The data quality was amazing. Like, the problem statement was very well defined. Like, if I had, like, there would not be a possibility of me having any confusion about what I'm trying to solve. Versus when I went to internships, it was a little more vague. Like, the problem statements might not be so well defined, but there'll be someone who has the right answer to it. Like, things were still under a very supervised environment. But when I came to corporate, I realized that there could be a lot many things that can go wrong, not just in terms of the use case, not just in terms of the data that I'm working with, not just in terms of the modeling that I'm doing, but also the timeline in which we are committing to deliver something, right? So one of the things I would say I learned is crisis management. Like, if something goes wrong, how to like immediately come up with a plan B, how to like move things around, how to get the right resources, how to reach out to the right people who could help you, and how to get things done when like everything is going upside down. So that's probably the crisis management that I learned after transitioning to a corporate life.
that's amazing. After all, I mean, Murphy's Law, right? Whatever can go wrong ends up going wrong at some point or the other. So, yeah, I'm guessing crisis management must be an extremely useful skill, and we probably should work on it, even in the like sheltered environment that we are in right now as well, as much
Yeah.
as we possibly can. So, thank you for that.
I'm curious, and I believe like the audience would also like curious, like if there's only one professional skill that you want to recommend to every student that they should master before they enter into the industry, what would it be?
Professional skills, I don't know if it's a professional skill exactly, but probably resilience. Just like, like never give up. There are things and hiccups which will always come in life, be it like personal or professional life, but just like keep going. Like I have personally faced a lot of like milestones or like hiccups when I was in my studies, like doing my education or even during career. But I think the most important thing is not to lose your sanity. Just like don't get overwhelmed by any situation at any given point in time, because your mental peacefulness or like your mental calmness is what will help you find a solution for what the problem is. And I would like recommend this, not just again, like not just for professional skill, but also like just a life skill, is like try to not focus on the problem so much and try to see that, hey, here it is what it is, like this is what is there, this is a problem, okay, it exists. Instead of like putting too much effort on thinking about the problem, thinking about how it originated or like what could you have done to not let that problem occur, just try to find a solution, right? Like instead of investing more of your energy on like the negativity of the problem, just focus on be like, I have to find a solution out of it, and what are the different avenues that I can choose. So that's probably one of the skills which I have learned from my mentors, from my parents. So that's how I would like that's probably what I would advise for the community.
Okay, definitely. I mean, like for me, I'm facing with multiple midterms right now, so like it's a really helpful advice for me. Yeah. So like you mentioned before in your conversation with Abhishek that not you're also like to communicate with people and like networking with people, but we also like noticed from your profile that you actively participated in research assistantship during undergraduate and graduate school. So we wonder, how important do you think research is for students, like for undergraduate and graduate students for their academic life?
I guess like in the initial phases when you are trying to step into any space, it is important for you to explore various different aspects of that field. That is probably what I was trying to do back then, because when I came for my master's, I was very like very sure that, hey, I will be doing a PhD after this. But as in when I started working, I realized that PhD might not be a good fit for me. I am probably modeled to do something which is more around like real world applications, to tackle like people, to tackle industries, and to tackle leadership opportunities. So I transitioned from being a person who used to think that research is a good avenue for me to a person that now has a totally different opinion. So I feel like in the initial phases of your career, or like the initial phases of your like work, you should be exploring various different things that will give you an understanding on what is right and what is not for you. So while I was doing all my internships around research or like research assistantships, I was trying to explore if this is a good fit for me, or if this is something which I can do sustainably through say 20 or 30 years. Doing something for a short period of time is very different, because that time your mind is like very active, it's like very curious, it is very actively thinking about how exciting things are. But when time passes by, when you're thinking about if that is a sustainable thing for you to do through many years, that might not be the best choice. So I was just like trying out different things, and that's probably like an advice that people should also do, like try out, like probably go to a marketing like campaign, try out your hand in marketing, try out your hand in research, try out various different things. That'll, because earlier in your career you are more like I think you're more flexible in learning different things rather than now. So like once you are maturely growing into a space, it becomes a little difficult to unlearn things, and it's better to like do it early in your career where you can explore various different things.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm also doing research for the semester, like trying out like to see which field that I'm interested in. So I really agree on what you said and the importance of it. So like besides research, we also notice one unique experience for you, like that is being the scikit-learn contributor. So would you like to elaborate more on that and share with us some of the details?
Yeah, sure. So open source is probably one of the things which is really close to my heart. I started like working on it with scikit-learn. Like I had that opportunity with Professor Andres Miller, who exposed me to the space, and I really enjoyed working for that. Since then, I have still been actively working in other open source communities as well. Like currently, I'm working PyTorch Lightning on like elaborating their community. So why open source is really important to me is because I feel like that's one of the space which works without profit. Like they are not money minded, or like they are not working in a traditional business model. They are trying to contribute to the society, or like contribute to the space. And that like that just that purpose itself is very important to me, because they are one of the communities who are trying to disrupt what major industries are doing, and they build that healthy competitiveness in the society. So that's one another reason I feel like it's very important to have this open source community. And I do encourage people to do a lot of things in open source, because that way you are not like pricing everything that you're working on. And it like it encourages people to get more in the research, or like more into building these solutions. So yeah, like open source is like really really close to my heart.
Okay, thank you so much for your advice. And I think like I would definitely try out to see if I can become a part of it, because I'm also seeing like other people contribute to it, and it's really helpful for me. So
I think that's about it for the large questions, at least. And I think this conversation has been extremely helpful so far. In the next bit, so we're going to do a rapid fire session with you. So that's, yeah, so that's basically going to look like us asking you really short questions, and you answering them as soon as you possibly can
Okay.
on the spot, right? Uh, so yeah, so we'll just start shooting questions at you once you're ready. That's
Okay,
no.
yeah,
Yeah.
bring it on.
cool. All right. All right. Okay, I will be the first one. So what is your favorite data science courses?
I think reinforcement learning ones.
Okay. Which data science course do you find the hardest?
I'm trying to research more on federated learning. I'm trying to find it a little hard to get all the right resources. So that's probably I would classify as the hardest one, because I don't have enough resources to wrap my head around.
Okay. All right. Which programming language do you prefer?
Python. I know all the R community is going to hate me for this, but yes, Python.
Yeah, for me too.
Okay. I'm actually a bit biased towards R, but yeah. Okay, so when do you prefer to work the most, morning or evenings?
My work pattern is it's very weird. So I'm that person who likes to work for say an hour, and then I do some of my yoga. I'll be find in a handstand position probably somewhere in the house, and then I'll do that for like 20 minutes. I'll come back to my work. I'll watch something for 10 minutes, then I'll come back to my work. So I don't really work continuously on something. So I think my brain works in a way that it can't process the same thing for a really long period of time. So I just have to like take these 10 to 20 minutes of breaks doing something else.
Okay. All right. So can you share with us three of your hobbies outside of work?
Outside of work, I am like a super 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 fitness freak. So I love running, I love hiking, I love going for like bouldering. I have been doing boxing and yoga very actively. So yeah, I think most of my hobbies are just workouts. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. I feel like I should get inspired by you and do that as well. But so do you work with or without music?
uh okay, I don't know how people outside India or within India are going to judge me for this. I watch Tarak Mehta, so that's my background music. So that's a very like it's a comedy series in India, and it's like telecasted in Sony, and I generally watch it on YouTube. That's my background music all through the day, right from I wake up. And yeah, my friends and family hate it because I keep playing it on YouTube on the TV, and they keep getting those recommendations. But yes, that's my like concentration music, Tarak Mehta.
Well, can I just say, for someone that has seen it before, that I definitely did not see that answer coming, and that was, yeah, That's pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
everyone judges me when I say this, but yes, I am a huge fan of Tarak Mehta. If there was anything else apart from women in data science that would advocate, I would definitely advocate for Tarak Mehta.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's absolutely brilliant.
All right. So if you can learn one thing without considering the cost and the time, what would it be?
If I could learn one thing, I would probably learn how to not get tired. I really wish I was like a robot and not get tired at all and not need coffee when I'm sleepy. But yeah, that's probably one thing I'll learn.
Oh my God, I really want that too. Oh my God, I get tired so easily, and I just want coffee all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, sleep is for the weak, right?
I really wish I could just like switch that on, like switch it off for me.
Oh
I
my
wish I'd
God.
never had to sleep.
I swear. So, is there any destination that you'd like to travel to, like the most? That stands
Right
out
now,
to you.
I want to go to Hawaii. Like absolutely right now, yes, that's probably the next destination I'm gonna hit very soon. I just like water and I like to be around water. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned about you're a big fan of outdoors events. So we wonder like if you can only pick one, like one event, what would it be that you want to
Running,
do the most? Okay.
for sure, running.
Cool.
So, let's switch back to data science a bit. So, what are your pet peeves in data science? Anything that pops out?
Somewhere when someone asks me about like gradient descent or anything which is too mathematical, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to think about optimization right now. I don't want to think about integration and differentiation right now. That's probably my pet peeve.
Okay. All right. Quick question about your habits on coding. So, do you prefer tabs or space for indentation?
Tabs.
Yes, tabs all the way for sure. And on that again, on coding again. So, do you prefer like commented code or no comments? Like, what kind of
Absolutely.
person are you?
I probably write more comments than the code.
Well, that's amazing. That sounds like something that people should do more often too. So,
I
coming
definitely
from
need to
someone
learn
that
on that.
I swear, coming from someone that doesn't put that many comments myself either. So, probably should learn a bit there. Mm. I think that's about it for us in terms of like these questions as well. So, thank you so much for patiently answering each and every one of these. Um,
Yeah. So like now it almost comes to the end of our very first episode. So Aishwarya, thank you so much for that. And one last question before we end this. So
Yeah.
could you give one sentence of advice to our audience and the current students starting in data science or related fields?
Yeah, I would just say like be open to opportunities, like be open to learning anything and everything. Like recently I've started learning about history, and that's something I thought I would never even read about because that was the worst subject for me when I was in school. But as and when I'm starting to like learn about ancient history, it just gives me a lot of interesting insights. Like my brain does go to a like a situation when it's thinking about like, is there a way I can like build nice models which could probably detect something out of the like history like or the logs that we have. But yeah, like that's probably what I will advise, like be open to learning new things. Like it need not be something off your field, just be open to learning anything new.
Okay, I mean like for your like history might be biology for me. So after hearing your advice, I might need to like open my bio 20 like to check it out. So yeah. All right. So Aishwarya, thank you so much for coming, and we really enjoyed the conversation with you, and we gained a lot of advice from you and for our audience too. So we sincerely hope that all of you listening to us have the same feeling and get to know more about Aishwarya and the data science field. So if you enjoyed the conversation, follow her on LinkedIn and her recently started YouTube channel. And also follow us on our LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify page. So all of those accounts will be attached in our description section. And we will have our next episode in the series coming out soon. So stay tuned and hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.